It's time for Where You Live with Gene and Tony, the show that's all about owning, buying, selling, renting, and association management. If it involves a home, we'll talk about it. Here's your chance to get your homeowner questions answered. From the Concierge Landscape Studios, here's Gene and Tony.
Needed the shelter of someone's arms, and there you were.
Welcome to Hour 2 of Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We're also brought to you this second hour by Extreme Exteriors. And we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to be talking a little bit about someone who posed the question. They said, what would happen if homeowner associations were just like the state of Wisconsin? Last year, the legislature had some issues and how to maneuver and act and when they should meet and get something passed. And the question was asked, can homeowner associations act that way too? Yes, they can. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit with our good friend Dan Greenstein from Bernick Lifson. We also have a story later on too that is out of Texas. It says neighbors pitted against neighbors in a subdivision fight. But as always, it's not neighbors plural. It goes down to one bad egg. And we're going to talk about that one bad egg in a little bit, too. But as always, folks, we always love to have the opportunity to have on the line you who are our regular listeners.
That's right.
And we have someone who contacted us through, it was either the hotline or with our email address. And Tony, give that hotline number too if other people have questions.
952-224-2668. Call anytime, leave a comment, leave a question, leave ideas for topics.
Yes, and we're happy to be able to convince to come on the show with us live today. Yvonne, hello, Yvonne. Good afternoon.
Oh, hi.
Hi,
Gene and Tony.
Yvonne. Welcome to Where You Live.
Oh, you're welcome. Love the show, and I've learned a lot from your examples of HOA cases and problems.
Good. Glad to hear it.
I'll begin with, I'm a Minnesota homeowner and a board member in a townhouse development in the suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
We're a relatively small HOA, and we really don't have a lot of personal, problems among us.
That's refreshing to hear. I'm glad to hear it.
How many units are in your association?
Well, there are 23 people.
23
of us. A lot of us are single or working or widowed or, that's about it.
Yeah.
And you're
there
all
are some couples.
And you're all self-managed then too, right?
Yes, we are.
So you guys are doing all the work yourselves.
We have an accountant.
Okay.
But but we've had to change some of our amendments lately due to repairs that are needed, and also in case there are problems such as how many renters to allow. In case there are many changes in the population, like a couple of people that were older than I who had to go to a different lifestyle living.
Different housing,
right.
Yeah.
But
and
anyway,
that's tough in a bad market when you can't sell readily.
Right.
You got some new questions arise.
Right. And anyway, we're a 6-member board, including the president, and we feel that, she's been on the board since it began. And
how long has that been?
We've all been here about 18 years.
Okay.
And pretty much all of us have the same type of background, so I think that's why we get together. We get along pretty good. But anyway, we appreciate our president very much, and when we've been discussing about, what we can do to compensate her. Of course, one of the board members blurted out, maybe we should give her $1,000 from our monies. But that didn't go over very well.
With who? With the other homeowners?
With the other homeowners.
So your question is that something?
Well, we're thinking of how appropriate it is to give her a gift card to a nice restaurant for she and her husband. And that we would be doing that just among ourselves.
Among the board, you mean?
Among the board.
Yeah.
No.
It's a very good question, and I think it's wonderful that you appreciate her service to the community so much, because Yvonne, that it can be a really thankless job
Yes,
serving
it is,
on the
she
board.
is. Yeah, she has 2 jobs at the moment and a husband. So
And the board.
Yeah.
So
And
what
the
do you
board.
what do you think, Gene? What's appropriate in this situation?
Well, you talked about, Yvonne, if the money that you're talking about pooling together to give to this person as a way of saying thank you, if that comes directly from the board, it's a moot point as far as I'm concerned.
Anything you want to do.
Anything you want to do in terms of a gift to a neighbor, it's nobody else's business.
Right.
I think it would be important, though, to, if that is what's done, that you make sure that that is communicated to the other homeowners so that they don't mishear something or misread something, because then that could be an issue.
So our secretary could put in the minutes that we as board members are doing this
on your I think that's a good idea.
on our own, because
you don't want anyone to misunderstand it either now or 5 years down the road.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know that when you talk about all the years of service this person has put together, and your initial thought was, could we do something like give them $1,000? Certainly, that doesn't even begin to meet any of all of the thankless hours that that person puts together. But that would be an amount in something that would be a lot harder for that to come from the association itself.
Right,
Yeah,
we understand that.
Yeah, most documents, and I think yours do, Yvonne, specifically say that board members are not to be compensated.
Right, we know it's voluntary.
Yeah. And so, in regards to saying thanks to someone with a small gift card or a token for an amount to go out to dinner, I think that's fine. That's not compensation directly for services.
That's a thank
you.
But
that's a thank you. But it would need to continue to be a small amount. And then I think you'd mentioned that, was this something that you guys brought up at the annual meeting, or someone did?
Well, no, it was about that she should be be given something for all her years of hard work.
I see.
And then this fellow, said maybe $1,000.
I see.
But then where would you quit with that? You know.
Good point. Yeah. Good point. And in any event, whatever you do, be sure and disclose it to your members,
right?
Because being open about it is going to go a lot farther than not.
I'm vice president, so I certainly will, and I'm trying to get the board members too to decide among us how much and to what restaurant.
Okay. All right.
Well, we sure appreciate you being a listener to our show.
Oh, very
Yvonne.
much so, and I like your sponsors.
Oh, great!
Good to know.
There's something we'd like to do for you right now. We'd like to give you, here on Where You Live with Gene and Tony, we'd like to give you a gift. This year, we've been privileged to have the Community Associations Institute. They have given to our radio show 12 free one-year memberships into that organization.
I think I've heard you talk about that.
Oh, yeah. And it's a great resource, especially if you're a self-managed association such as yours. And we'd love to be able to give that membership either to you or anybody else on your board. You would be receiving, they have a bi-monthly publication called Common Ground that has great articles in it. They have they get together throughout the year with seminars and meetings, a great place to network. So if you want to know what do people think of a certain vendor, what has worked for them, what hasn't worked, it's a great resource.
They also have a great website where they've got past articles archived, so it's a great source of information for a homeowners association.
So may we give you that as a gift?
Yes, myself and probably the secretary, who also is very devoted. Have tried to help our president as much as possible. And so that,
good. Well,
that would
good,
be
Yvonne.
super.
I think you will find it very beneficial.
Yeah. So we've
sure.
got your phone number. So after the show, we'll give you a call to get some of the other information that we need, so that we can get you signed up.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for calling.
Yvonne.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye.
You know, Yvonne, when she called me earlier this week, said she loves our show, but she would like to hear more stories about local homeowners associations and what's going on.
Yeah, I would love to be able to just concentrate just on local things that take place too. But some of the craziest stuff that goes on doesn't happen in Minnesota, Tony.
Of course not. Because we're practical, intelligent people.
I think that. There is something with the work ethic and the Minnesota nice and so many other things that just don't bring us in that same spot.
Hey, you know what? We're so busy trying to survive the winters, we just can't sweat the small stuff, right?
That's right.
That's right. It's Florida, Nevada, and Texas that seem to have the most action.
Yeah, and so with that in mind, we've got something that is coming up from the state of California, but we're going to bring that up in the next segment after this break with our friend Dan Greenstein from Bernick Lifson. More with Where You Live with Gene and Tony after these messages.